Michael and Nicola Van Clarke.
Oh, I get it. All right, okay.
When did you first enter the British Hairdressing Awards?
The very thing that I was famous and good for, now anybody could do that. You were winning everything. And there was a point when everybody kind of went, that's the salon to be.
And then we went back in 2010 or 11 and won 4 for the first time.
Okay. It became, probably still is, the biggest event ever.
And it just became really expensive, 20, 30,000.
Absolutely.
Just to get,
absolutely.
4 pictures together.
John Swanell thought it would be quite funny to do me as kind of, as a woman. So they got this Emmanuel dress.
So welcome to our podcast, Michael and Nicola Van Clarke.
Oh, I get it. All right, okay.
No? Okay.
No, you got too many Nicola Clarks around, actually.
Okay, no. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Michael Van Clarke.
And Nicky Clarke.
The biggest award in the industry was the hairdressing.
British
Hairdressing
Awards,
Hairdresser of the Year.
Yeah, biggest event as well.
And the biggest event, which ended up bursting Grosvenor House Ballroom from what was 1,200 to about 2,000.
No, what it was, even more than that, because the capacity of the Great Room was that, but then they took the upstairs, but then later on...
And the stairs.
But then later on they actually took the ballroom. So they reduced the price of the ticket so you saw it on the screen. So it became, probably still is, the biggest event ever that the Grosvenor House have. And, they were even basing... it's Marriott now, isn't it? They were basing their, they were trying to do some rooms there because they were going to get us to have a salon there. And I thought, well, this is brilliant because, ahead of time, there were people that wanted to take a room, but not necessarily a full room, just to change and whatever. So it was a huge event. It's for Reed Publishing. It was like their biggest.
And when did you first enter the British Hairdressing Awards?
I think it was in 88. I don't know how it was because when it was an enter or they nominate you, but it was for Session Hairdresser of the Year. So in 88, I won that.
Those you enter, and you won London, I think, as well.
I won London 3 times.
Yeah, but I think it's the overall British Hairdresser.
Yes.
They have to nominate you.
Oh, is that how it is?
And then that's the one you provide the images for.
Yes. Yeah, that's another story. I'm just thinking another one.
And you did win that one, didn't you?
Yeah, I did win. Yeah, I won it. I mean, it's in controversy, but we won't go there on this one.
And you won it for John as well, I hear.
Yeah.
Is that
well,
right?
actually, in the 80s, I don't think it was as, kind of like, it didn't mean as much yet. I think the early 90s became sort of the defining time. But I know that John, who was never really, Frida, who never really did that much for the trade, they nominated him. And there was a complicated system of sending pictures up to the Grosvenor House, and he ended up overcomplicated. It was actually very beautiful, but he did all these different, kind of Conte boards things. And I heard that they only actually judged him on one of them. So there was one, he didn't win it. So I think the next time when he deserved to win it really. The next time he wasn't really that interested. He said, Nicky, you just to organise it. So I organised what were our salon pictures that we did, but it just happened to be, I didn't do it on purpose or anything, but it just happened to be that the year that year he won it, out of the 12 pictures, 10 of them were mine. So, I mean, they were salon, because it was the salon.
Teamwork.
Teamwork, yeah. Well, it wasn't him, he wasn't doing it, but it was, they were registered as the salon's stuff. So, but he deserved to win. I mean, he was just a phenomenal force, there that they didn't, but he just didn't do enough for the industry. But then it became more.
There was a period of a few years where I think post-production reached a zenith where the pictures started to become almost like animation.
I know exactly what it was.
And it actually put me off.
It
had no relevance to what we were doing all day long.
Well, it was very, very relevant to me, and I know exactly the time because 95, I've got a set of pictures that I did with Yasmin de Bond that I know were my last ones that were not retouched at all, other than the bit of odd, hand retouching. But I remember 96 being amazed by this stuff, this machinery that they had, that you could now do anything. There was actually even a set of pictures in Vogue that had the models in sort of very odd positions and stuff. And now, of course, I know it's just it's just digitally done. But you're right, because the very thing that I was famous and good for. Now, anybody could do that. You just go, I'll take that bit there and do this bit there. And it wasn't even that subtle. And it took a while, I think, for even Hairdressers Journal to really, get that. They started to ask for the originals and things. So they were aware that it was a problem, but it's that thing, you just do it too much and it just becomes like
that's
faked.
how it seemed to me. And I know at the time that these studios had like £1 million machines that could do it.
Yeah, that was a waste.
And within a year or two, Photoshop made it mainstream. Absolutely. And all this equipment became worthless.
Yeah, because just before that, I had one picture of, I think it was me actually, I'm not sure, that they just photoshopped to death. I mean, it was like terrible. I mean, plastic in it.
That wasn't one of Nicola, was it?
Nicola.
Don't you remember that Nicola picture?
No, you're talking about something. No, you're referring to this. No, because I had very, very long hair, and of course, in those days, before you could put extensions in, suddenly that was this kind of a look. Calvin Klein had this model that had very long hair, so I suddenly became like relevant because of the hair and stuff like that. So there was a thing. I was at John Swanell's, the photographer, and he just said. Because Bailey had, when I first met Bailey, he went, "Who's that ugly girl?" That was that one of those ones.
Send that girl in.
Yes, send that girl in. So John Swanell thought it would be quite funny to do me as kind of as a woman. So they got this Emmanuel dress. Did you do the hair?
I came and did the hair. Yeah.
So I remember. So I had a beard.
It wasn't in his original studio. He'd moved down the road to a top floor studio.
Oh, Elsworthy Road.
Same area.
That's exactly right. So we did this, and I had a beard at the time. So we shaved the beard off, which was weird enough. Michael did the hair, and they had the wind machine. So it was all like very glamorous and stuff like that. And I remember I showed it to Tina.
She didn't know who it was.
She didn't know who it was. She said it was. And also, by the time I'd got the pictures and stuff, I grew the beard back, and I went back to Leslie with it. I mean, that went down well. It's like one of those. But no, I mean, but I actually did. They published it in the Mail at one point, and it was also on This Morning. It's like, I don't know, one of those ones. Oh my God, it's like, but it was kind of funny at the time.
It was funny.
Yeah, you could see the sort of Adam's apple, I think, but it was good funny.
So then you stopped entering the awards?
No, never did.
After the mid-90s?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the 80s ones, I won session in 88. I won session in 89 again. And I think actually it felt weird. I felt that Sam should have, Guido, I think, or whoever. I felt they should have actually have won that, but I won it. And I think it was mostly because I think my pictures had that mix of the editorial. There was enough editorial in there, but also it kind of was accessible, whereas I think theirs may have been more hairdresser led.
Yeah,
but the judges
at the time, there wasn't so much of that editorial look.
Absolutely.
That's
What is it?
right.
Actually, it was. I mean, I'm diversifying here, but I remember we went to Russia not that long ago with the great and the good, Errol and Hakim and all of that lot, and it was the first Russian hairdressing awards. So we were there, meant to be kind of represented, and it was really tricky because you had either people submitting entries that were a bit too editorial with not enough hair going on, but the girls looked great, and it was that. Or you had them doing very, very hairdressy stuff, or not that great looking girls, and it just was awful, really. But we had the dilemma, and I remember saying to them, because it was very divided. I mean, you had people like Hakim that wanted that hairdressy thing, and the trick is to try and do the mixture of both, not make it as if you've done nothing, but also don't make it as if, you're kind of, it's all whatever, fringes and whatever. So, and I said, if you go down that road, you'll have 10 years of thinking that's what's acceptable. You have to go by the model is first, the makeup is second.
Yeah, models always the most important. You never entered the business awards, the Hairdressing Journal of course, business actually, awards.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, my only thing of it was that I remember you being really the kind of benchmark, but it never kind of crossed my mind. It's only when, whenever I talk to people and they would say, what's the all of that stuff. I don't what does what does he do or whatever. And I always used to use the sentence that in terms of awards, like Michael's the benchmark in terms of business. You had all that investors in people, it was all about staff And I think that, there was a point, certainly, I mean, you would know better than me, obviously, when you were winning everything. And there was a point when everybody kind of went, that's the salon to beat, But no, I never did. And I think ours was a much more kind of bit more frivolous and
it was more fashion and image led.
Yeah, I think, and I don't know if I was even that aware of it before you did it. Did it come at the same time or was it after?
I think it started in the late 90s.
Okay.
And we entered first in 99.
Okay, fine. So I wasn't even involved in even
two entries, one that I wrote, one that a consultant helped us with writing them. And
did you win that?
They were awful.
But you won a number of them, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I actually, ours didn't even get nominated in 99. And when I look back on them, I know why, because they just read like garbage. I mean, I wouldn't want to read them, let alone a judge. But
what was the criteria that they were?
We went back in, I think, 2008 or 9, and I wrote them, and I had one of my apprentices enter as well. She did a great entry, and we won 2 in that year, which was great. That was the beginning.
Right.
And it sort of felt, okay, well, I've known what it's like not to win.
Yeah.
And sort of walked away from it. And actually now I've got a feeling for what we should be doing.
That's the trick, really. You need to kind of know what they are expecting.
And that whole award system played to our strengths.
Yeah.
It was really, it was much more in depth. It was much more about how the business functions in all the different levels. Yeah. And then we went back in 2010 or 11 and won 4 for the first time in 1 year, which was lovely.
Yeah.
And we did that again a year later, had a rest, did it again in 2013.
But are you still writing them all?
Sorry?
You're still writing them all?
All of them.
See, that's the issue. That's the problem I have. We had...
not if it's an apprentice one. Or
no, but I mean...
if it's another individual.
Yeah, if it's
I will help them. It's great for the team because I help them and encourage them to do it, and I will help edit.
Yeah.
But if it's a specific one, like this year we have stylist, I'm not going to write that for them, but I'll help them to shape it.
Yeah.
Apprentice.
I suppose it's different when because this is about almost a kind of a model that you're writing. When it's pictures, it's really tricky. I mean, I remember, lots of those awards. I mean, I don't want to go into the names of them, but I basically did them. I mean, they're there, but there's a model being chose. I mean, if you have the experience in a studio, that's what gets you the picture. You need to know how a studio runs. And I remember at one point with one of them, letting them do them all. I mean, I just went and put them in the bin. It was like $2,000.
But it also became very, very expensive.
Unbelievably expensive.
The agencies cottoned on to the fact that you needed good models.
Absolutely.
And so they made it very expensive.
Well, somebody like Keith Harris actually had won a number of things himself, but of course he knew the teams of getting Clive Harris-Smith to do the. I mean, Clive ended up being the photographer to go to win all the time. So Keith made a business of the fact that he would go in and help choose the model of the thing. I mean, they all looked a bit like Keith Harris pictures, but there was that kind of time of it. Yeah, you're right, actually. Unbelievable. And also they changed the dates as well, so it was always tricky trying to get the models because you had London Fashion Week and stuff going on, and it was just really hard. I mean, and very expensive. You're right.
Very expensive. I think that's really ultimately what put us off, because we had entered a few times with Simon, but then it just became really expensive, 20,000-30,000 just to get 4 pictures together.
Absolutely. I mean, it was kind of absurd, and I think. It's also, I used to kind of say to be nominated was enough, I mean, I remember even when I think we had 10 up or something, we won 6 or 7. I mean, I was kind of annoyed about the other 3 still. But there was one time when I think it was one of the northern salons, they did it. And I was there doing it. And I remember at the end of it thinking, they're pretty good. I don't think they're going to win, but they're really good. And never even got nominated. Yeah. And I just went, that's too weird. I mean, I don't mean to be egotistical about it, but they were good shots. And why would they not be at least nominated? And sometimes you can see in certain categories. I remember there was one year they asked me to judge, and they would always ask me to judge. If you're in that category, you don't judge. I remember there was one of the northern ones, and it was like, if you don't something, wow, who's that? Because it was Mark Hill.
Mark Hill. Yeah, his were good.
His were really good. I mean, but actually, he sent one of his staff down to work for me, who was just brilliant. And in fact, but terrible with clients. Couldn't hold a clientele at all.
Terrible.
Yeah, well, in fact, I remember she didn't have that kind of, but I watched
good with hair.
Yeah, well, in fact, I remember I was doing a thing, Batman had come out or something, we were doing Poison Ivy. And so I had to replicate everything. I had Ruth, ex-girlfriend of mine, doing bits of it. So I did bits. I got her to do whatever, some of the Poison Ivy stuff. Came back perfect. I mean, I barely did anything for it. I mean, she was just brilliant. I mean, that kind of, capacity to do something. A bit like John, you don't need the sort of throwaway stuff. You want somebody that knows what they're doing. And in the end, she left because she was doing all the shows with Guido. So that's much more suited because client-wise, she didn't really have, and yet she was really good.
And then you got your big award, which was the OBE.
Oh, God, that's a shift.
Moving forward.
Yeah, back in why are we on that one?
Very interesting times.
No, that was 2008.
Way later.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say the big one that's British. Yeah,
let's wrap it there.
Okay, let's wrap it there.
And we will continue on another podcast.
Definitely.